With a new tier item being added to the mix, there's a few things I'd like to show you and test for you with Kassadin. You may be aware, though some of my teammates weren't the other day, that Kassadin has a mana ratio on his ultimate. This is his only mana ratio. It's 2% for the base Riftwalk, and then an extra 1% per stack. This adds up to a lot. Of course, AP does scale it better, but considering the advantages the other two items can give, is it worth it? Let's start off with nothing at all. We're going to do a simple combo of Riftwalk, Auto, W, E, Q. Actually, let's be smarter and let's do let's do E straight after Riftwalk, okay? Because that's what you probably should be doing. So R, E, Auto, W, Q. So now we're going to do it with Winter's Approach, which is our newest item and should obviously be the weakest in terms of damage increase. But how much does a small increase in damage actually do for you? So this is giving us 860 mana, and its passive is giving you giving you health and giving you shields on slowing enemies. You can slow enemies with melee champions like Kassadin by using E. If you combine it with Frostfire, that will work as well. Everfrost, you know, whatever you want. So let's hit this one with the Fimbulwinter. Again, only one R. We'll do more R's later. Okay, so the damage went up by less than 20. That's really underwhelming. However, we can't ignore that it does give you about 500 HP. And that means that you can sit on people's faces with Riftwalks much more. And this may work with a Sunfire playstyle, maybe a Divine Sunra playstyle. It does give a 15 ability haste as well. So obviously we're looking at them in a vacuum. So I want you to think not what does the most damage, because that's obvious, we slap a death cap on. Instead, think about what opportunities arise from these possible builds. Theorycraft in your head as we go along. Now let's do Seraphs. Now, you might not be aware, but Seraphs was changed. So it has 250 health now. You gain ability haste on its passive, not AP. Okay, so building a Frozen Heart after this, or Everfrost or whatever, is not going to give you AP from Seraphs, it's going to give you ability haste. Which is still cool, actually. That has plenty of application. Again, think about the potential. Don't think about highest damage. Also, restores health equal to mana spent. We all know that Riftwalk can get pretty damn expensive, so that's pretty cool. It does have a upper limit, though, which scales with your level and AP. If we look at it from here, 25 to 50 per level, based on level, and then 10% of your AP. So Seraphs really wants you to buy more AP. So definitely pair it with Shattered Queen. That sounds like a winning build already. Okay. $770. Finally in the hundreds, rather than in the teens. So this is only providing us 80 ability power. That's all it's giving us, as well as the 860. So we're getting the less than 20 damage from Fimbulwinter, and we're getting 80 AP's worth of damage. That's pretty simple. But here's where things get interesting if you've never seen this before. Muramana. First, I'm going to show you what Muramana looks like. Okay. Same combo. 1005. Now, Muramana has had a bit of a history. So in Season 11 is where it got most of its recent changes, which in my opinion make it better and worse than Season 10. You gain attack damage based on mana, which helps with an auto reset like W. Maybe not less so towards the late game, but still something. And it applies damage on abilities, 65 right now, dealing with mana and AD, and on attacks as well. Auto attacks, 24. Now, in Season 10, this would apply on your W as an auto and as an ability, and I'm pretty sure that's still true. Our W does 120 damage, and that will do an extra 65, so it should be 185. Except it isn't, because it's applying twice, and that's not including the auto reset. So you're actually getting 3 activations of Muramana, one from an attack, then another from an attack because you've used W to reset your auto attack, and then another from the ability. Now this isn't as strong as it used to be because the attack version is only 24 right now. At our level 6, at our 1 item build. This was a little bit better for DPS, but now the trade-off for that is that it didn't apply on E and R before, but now it does. So it actually does a lot of damage. But remember, don't think about the damage, think about the potential here. So Muramana is clearly the damage mana item. That's not going to apply to everyone. Maybe you don't want to buy it on Rise, I don't know. I don't really play Rise, so someone can tell me. I know he used to. You might be thinking, but Seraph scales with AP, Muramana scales with AD, and Fimbulwinter scales with AD. I mean, HP. So what happens when you build another item? Let's just forget boots, because most of these don't contribute any kind of stats that help besides Sorcerer's Shoes. We could buy a Sorcerer's Shoes, but that might... You know what? I'm still confident. Let's buy a Sorcerer's Shoes. I think most of the time with tankier Kassadin builds, you don't want Sorcerer's Shoes, you want Merc Treads, or even Tabbies, but whatever. So let's go ahead and use our Winter's Approach and Shattered Queen. This is everyone's favourite item. That is kind of busted, but let's just let that slide for the sake of this test. Here is the Shattered Queen stats, in case it gets nerfed during preseason or during next season. Hopefully it does, so you can compare in the future. Alright. We got our stacked Fimbulwinter and our Shattered Queen with an extra 600 mana. It's providing us almost 600 HP. Okay, we're still at level 6 by the way. 804. If we now sell Fimbulwinter and do the same again. 765, so it's again a laughable increase of about 39. That was a weird accent I just had. So, okay, that was... Winter's Approach, Fimbulwinter, they're not going to do damage, okay? Okay. But don't overestimate this Riftwalk. We're going to try it again in a minute with level 11 and 2 Riftwalks stacked as well, level 4 stacked. Now for Seraphs, make sure we don't hit this one. 1,208. 1,028, I can't read. So the Crown of the Shattered Queen is of course adding extra damage, but it's applying to all of them, so that's fine. And the Seraph isn't gaining any bonus AP from the Shattered Queen. Remember that. It is, however, giving us some healing and bonus mana. Sorry, ability haste. Finally, Muramana didn't come as much as of a surprise at this point. Hopefully, unless you are willfully blind, which a lot of people actually like to be when it comes to this kind of build. And it did another 300, almost 400 damage over the Seraphs. So as we buy more AP, or rather more mana, this is now doing more damage, more AD, a bit more damage on the autos, and quite a bit more damage on the abilities. So this is really good. This is your damage. As far as tier items go, this is amazing. But the thing about Kassadin is that whilst damage is an amazing part of his kit and something that you want, being pretty much truly melee with a dash doesn't mean you're invulnerable. You know, you might do all this damage, but they might not die, and they probably won't with things like shield mode being in the game. Things like supports that actually give a shit that are never on your team for some reason. This makes life hard, and this is why I like Tank Kassa, because it gives a little bit more independence and a little less reliance on your team, like, I don't know, telling the enemy support to go look at Baron or something. Also, I like being able to square up with enemy bruisers and juggernauts because it makes me feel empowered. Here's the kind of damage difference you can expect with a AP Mythic. So it's almost like a 200 every time, or 300 from Seraphs to Muramana. They all cost the same. No, they don't. No, they fucking don't. No wonder I like Winter's Approach. Okay, so Archangels is actually the most expensive, which is quite interesting because it has so much of its kind of power budget in haste, essentially, and healing. And that healing will add up. Unfortunately, Practice Tool is not a kind of place where you can test healing very well. We can try and like survive these towers like I would try with Aatrox back in the day. We're going to go ahead, test the damage numbers again at level 11. We're not going to use level 16 because, let's be honest, level 16 doesn't exist in most games. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a terrible test, actually, because we're going to be kind of just spamming. So there's a lot of human error inevitable in this one, and I'm essentially just going to do. First of all, I'm going to stack Riftwalk. Let's do that. Kind of until out of mana. Yeah, like that. We won't do a second queue. 2,705 just spamming from max stacks. Now Fimbul. Yeah. Okay. It was like that. I'll try and repeat that as accurately as I can, but I'm flawed as heck, so I'm probably not gonna. Okay. Perhaps. Now it has quite a lot of ability haste, so we should be able to spam this out a bit more. I didn't count the autos, but the autos are insignificant with this anyway. They're most significant with Muramana, so hopefully I don't fuck this one up. $4,200. Okay. So the damage numbers are much more significant when you have 4 stacks and you're spamming. We don't have much AP or anything like that, but with how the damage works on Muramana, it's still going to beat out Seraphs like this. Now this isn't accounting for any kind of armor or magic resist. Enemies with more armor and less magic resist are going to be way more vulnerable to even Fimbulwinter, but mostly Seraphs here. If you're using Fimbulwinter, you probably should use Conqueror, by the way. You could use Grasp if your lane opponent is appropriate, but if you're playing top lane, for example, that's like 99% of them you don't want Grasp because they'll kill you. So this is an interesting display of damage numbers. Okay, so having more AP is not going to make Seraph stronger. It's not going to make it do more damage anymore. So there's not even any point in testing this with a death cap. Of course, Seraph's 80 AP is going to contribute towards death cap, but you're mostly doing it for healing. Fimbulwinter is going to give you health straight up, not healing. You're going to have to get your healing from Conqueror, Ravenous Hunter, but I prefer Ultimate Hunter, and things like that, maybe Triumph as well. Muramana has no healing whatsoever. You're going to need a Ravenous Hunter, which means you don't get Ultimate Hunter. Or you're going to need to use Conqueror. Luckily, Kassadin stacks Conqueror decently when he's in a tank build on a fight, but Muramana provides the least tank stats. You can buy Frozen Hearts, which is pretty much the only mana item left outside of Mythics, which is the real reason this build got a lot weaker. However, Crown of the Shattered Queen exists. It gives 70 AP, gives AP on Mythic passive, and it gives you Safeguard. That's more than enough time to burst someone. Muramana is 100G cheaper than Archangels, which isn't much, but using Crown of the Shattered Queen and Muramana, I think, could be a nice way to get a lot of damage and mana. You add a Frozen Heart against AD enemies as well, and you are a nice, tanky bruiser Kassadin with a lot of damage reduction and a lot of burst. Muramana gets more powerful with more mana as well, unlike Seraphs anymore. This is really awesome. With Seraphs, you might not need Ultimate Hunter, so you could stack on even more healing, but just remember how much Grievous Wounds is in the game. I cannot test healing properly. Alright, fuckers, let's see how long I survive. Let's hit this one. Actually, I want to hit the center one. That's so I can do stuff. So I have no fucking healing whatsoever. Let's just see how long. Oh my god, they're off! Not about the damage, it's about surviving, and I've got no life steal of any kind. I lasted about, like, what, 4 seconds? Now let's try with Seraphs. How much longer do I survive? Alright, Seraphs, 2 towers. About the same amount of time. These towers are too strong. Shadow Queen doesn't actually do anything against towers, by the way, so we're just buying it for the AP and armor. I mean, okay, so I'm also going to stack. Oh, we went down to 30 FPS. It started lagging. Maybe there was some intense calculations going on in the game. Either way, that didn't do anything. Okay? That's how I aggro. But as we said, there's an upper ceiling to how much you can actually do. Ooh, we survived one more tower shot. So these little shavings of HP are actually going to do you quite little. They'll do more the more AP we have. So we're doing 58 per cast, right? Up to 50% per cast. 35% of our max mana cost, which is about, what is it, 640? Like 180. Almost 200 per fully stacked Riftwalk. But you can only do so many of those without W. Okay. Take a hit. Obviously we're not life stealing. Okay, we didn't last. I think we lasted a little bit longer with Seraphs, and then finally Fimbulwinter. If you want to go tanky, should you just go Fimbulwinter? Take a hit. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. If you want to survive for longer, go Fimbulwinter. Because you're spamming out Riftwalks, even though the damage is the lowest, it's not that much lower on the burst combo. It's just a couple hundred behind Seraphs. So if Seraphs is your baseline, Fimbulwinter's not much worse. Because you're going to get another 1 to 2 ultimates at least, just because of Fimbulwinter's tankiness. And if you decide not to go for Shattered Queen and you go for Divine Sunderer or Sunfire, you may end up doing more damage over time. And you're a constant threat because Kassadin is you are a constant source of burst per second, regardless of you having AP or not. I can tell you that from experience. AD carries do not like Kassadin's base damage. Oh no, this stacks. And it stacks with mana. If you want to be tanky, go Fimbulwinter. If you want to have damage, go Muramana. Unless you want a death cap, in which case go Seraphs. At this point, unless we get the entire world to play Kassadin, there's not enough time, as of now, since when preseason started, to know the best option. All we have is theories, even if they are well-educated theories from years and years of playing Kassadin. We don't actually know. So go out there, play yourself some Kassadin, see what you like. And don't first time Muramana in ranked just because you saw it had the highest damage numbers on some YouTube video. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be uploading plenty of Kassadin content soon, so like and subscribe, it always helps. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.